Indiana. New era, new energy. Already making plans for next season. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing, Indiana?
The Indiana Fever just sparked a huge buzz in the WNBA, and it's all thanks to a mistake that's making waves. A deleted social media post may have accidentally spilled the beans on their top-secret roster moves for the WNBA expansion draft. Now, fans and analysts are scrambling to figure out what it all means for Caitlin Clark's future.
So, the expansion draft is happening at the start of December, and Stephanie White is the coach of the Fever, and it's going to be interesting to see who they protect.
The pressure is on. November 25th is the deadline for teams to submit their protected players, and the Indiana Fever's slip-up might have just revealed their entire strategy. This isn't a small mistake. It could have a huge impact on both the Fever's future and the direction of the entire league for years to come. But it's not just about the WNBA. It's about the next generation of stars. Caitlin Clark's incredible rookie season has fans already calling her the future of basketball. At the same time, Indiana's playoff push has sparked hope that this once struggling team is finally turning things around.
The future is so bright, and our ultimate goal is to hang another banner in the field house. And our ultimate goal is to come back in here after we win that championship and celebrate again like we did in 2020.
In this video, we'll dive into everything you need to know about the Golden State versus Cary expansion draft and what it means for the Fever. We'll discuss the players they're rumored to be protecting and the heated debate over whether one controversial name should make the cut. And let's hope this slip-up didn't cost some poor intern their job. Stick around as we explore how this leak could impact Caitlin Clark, the Fever, and the entire WNBA. Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Ready? Let's jump in.
We have a new team, the Golden State Valkyries, that's going to begin and play in 2025. But before that happens, we need to have an expansion draft because they need some players on their roster.
Let's set the scene. The WNBA expansion draft is one of the biggest events of the offseason this year, and it's even more intense because of one name, Caitlin Clark. Here's how it works. The Golden State Warriors, a brand new team set to debut in 2025, will have the chance to build their roster by selecting players from other WNBA teams. But there's a catch. Each team can protect up to 6 players, keeping them safe from being picked. Unprotected players, including free agents, are fair game, but the Valkyries can only choose one unrestricted free agent in total. The twist? The protected player list isn't made public, so only the Valkyries management and each team's management will know who's on the list.
The expansion draft is happening on December the 6th. It's going to be live on ESPN. But before that happens, here's what you need to know.
The deadline for teams to submit their protected players is November 25th, with the draft itself happening on December 6th for the Fever. This marks a critical turning point after years of struggling near the bottom of the league. In 2024, Indiana broke through with a playoff appearance and a winning record. Now, with new coach Stephanie White at the helm and an exciting young roster led by Caitlin Clark, Aliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, and Lexi Hull, the Fever have a rare opportunity to secure their future. This isn't just about avoiding mistakes, it's about making the most of the momentum. Caitlin Clark's rookie season wasn't just impressive, it was game-changing. She set records, packed arenas, and gave Indiana a true superstar to build around, alongside Aliyah Boston, one of the league's best post players. With this dynamic duo leading the way, the Fever have a foundation full of promise. Add in strong players like Kelsey Mitchell and Lexi Hull, and the future looks bright for Indiana.
Women's sports, it's a big opportunity to be a part of this rising tide that we're all experiencing. Everybody in this company's all in. Everybody in this city's all in.
The stakes couldn't be higher. Protecting the wrong players could leave Indiana exposed, giving the Valkyries a chance to snatch away key talent or throw off the Fever's chemistry. Teams have to think beyond the draft too. Free agency and possible trades are just as crucial. That's why the leak of Indiana's protected list is causing such a stir. It might have accidentally revealed their entire strategy at the worst possible time. This isn't just about one team. It's about the shifting power dynamics across the whole league. Expansion drafts are rare, and they force every franchise to make tough choices. So how can a single deleted post carry so much weight, and what does it mean for Indiana's next move? Let's break down what happened and why it's got fans talking.
The fact that it was deleted makes me believe they weren't ready for the backlash that transpired from said post. But of course...
Now, let's dive into the moment that turned the entire WNBA fan base into amateur detectives. On November 24th, Just days before the expansion draft protection deadline, the Indiana Fever's social media team posted a graphic meant to highlight the team's future. It featured head coach Stephanie White standing in front of 6 players, with the caption, "New era, new energy, already making plans for next season." But the post was quickly deleted within an hour, but not before fans grabbed screenshots and started analyzing every detail of the 6 players in the image. Caitlin Clark, Aliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, Lexi Hull, Nalissa Smith, and Tyler Fagman. For those closely following the WNBA, this looked like the Fever's protected player list for the expansion draft, a perfect match with ESPN's predictions.
The reason this has become a thing is because the players in front of her, well, there were 6 of them. And the WNBA draft, the expansion draft coming up, you can protect 6 players from the Golden State Valkyries. Each team, each franchise can. So fans try to put 2 and 2 together, seeing the 6 players that Stephanie White was talking to and thinking those must be the 6 players that the Indiana Fever protected.
Fans quickly flooded forums and social media with theories. Was this an accidental leak or just a poorly timed promotional post? If it was a leak, it wasn't just a simple slip-up. It could have serious consequences for the Fever's plans. Revealing their protected players gives other teams a peek into Indiana's priorities. The post didn't just raise eyebrows. It sparked a wildfire of debates and speculation. Some fans even wondered if the leak was intentional, maybe to gauge public reaction before locking in their final decisions. Whether it was a mistake or a strategy, the impact of this post is hard to ignore. The bigger question is what this reveals about the Fever's priorities and whether they're making the right choices with their rumored protected players. Let's break it all down. If you're enjoying the video so far, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We appreciate you spending your time with us. Now, back to the action.
There's not even one scenario ever out there in all the multiverses where Caitlin Clark wouldn't be on the list. Aliyah Boston, same thing goes for her. Kelsey Mitchell's going to be a free agent, but we know the Fever really want to bring her back. They've been celebrating her accomplishments in China. They just posted an hour of her highlights online. They can core her if they have her rights and keep her under contract. So it makes sense that they'd keep that big 3 together.
Now that we've seen the rumored protected player list, let's break it down player by player. These 6 names give us a clear picture of Indiana's priorities and their vision for the future. First, let's talk about the core. Caitlin Clark, Aliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, and Lexi Hull. These are the obvious choices. Caitlin Clark, coming off a historic Rookie of the Year season, is already the face of the franchise and one of the most marketable players in the WNBA. Aliyah Boston, the former first overall pick, has quickly become one of the league's top bigs, dominating both sides of the floor. Kelsey Mitchell is a proven scoring machine and a veteran presence, key to the Fever's offensive rhythm. And Lexi Hull brings a tough defensive edge and has made significant strides in her shooting, making her the perfect complement to the team's stars.
Obviously, Lexi Hull falls into that group as well. Hull is a glue-type player, plays hard, gets to the loose balls, takes on the tough assignment.
Then there's Nalissa Smith. Her inclusion on the protected list immediately sparked debate among fans. While Smith's athleticism and potential are undeniable, her inconsistency on the court has raised some concerns. Add to that the fallout from the infamous "I poke" incident with her girlfriend, followed by the controversial TikTok video, and it's easy to see why she's become a polarizing figure. Some fans are questioning if her off-court drama could impact the team's chemistry, while others believe her talent is too great to ignore.
On-court stuff, she's not the best decision-maker with the basketball. Motor comes into question at times, not really a shooter. However, there was also the other stuff. She would seem to have an issue with Christy's sides. Doesn't seem to stay away from social media at times. And then the thing with Dejanay Carrington and the Sun and the Fever.
Some believe Smith represents untapped potential, and protecting her could be a way for the Fever to keep their trade options open. On the other hand, others question whether her inconsistent performances and off-court distractions are worth the risk. From a strategic standpoint, losing Smith without getting anything in return would be a major setback for Indiana. However, if the Fever can turn her potential into valuable assets, her inclusion on the list could end up being a brilliant move.
Maybe Stephanie White sees the talent that Nalissa has, and she clearly has talent, and thinks, I can get the most out of Nalissa. Or maybe the Fever think, hey, we're not going to lose her for nothing. Let's protect her because she does have trade value.
There is no Satu trade with no Alyssa Smith because they really need a power forward. Like really need a power forward. So they need to, like, if there's no Alyssa trade, there's no Satu. Because again, if Alyssa is not available for trade, then Satu Sabali is not going to be got because there's no good power forwards in free agency. Satu or Alyssa at least has some potential, but she can come in as a replacement for Satu with the other assets they get, and they at least get something.
The 6th spot is reportedly held by Tyler Fagman, a veteran who had a strong start to the season before injuries slowed her down. Her experience and contributions early on make her an important piece, but her injury setbacks could complicate her future with the team.
Temi Fagbenle is a winning attitude kind of player, plays hard on defense, really ran the floor well on the season, did a nice job converting Caitlin Clark's passes early in the year. Didn't do as well later in the year with that. Blew a lot of layups and bunnies, but I think part of that was because she had a hand injury.
Her inclusion has raised some eyebrows because many fans expected Grace Berger, a younger player with high potential, to make the cut. Tam's versatility and defensive skills might have given her the edge, especially in a draft where veteran experience is highly valued. The exclusions of Grace Berger and Damiris Dantas are the most surprising. Berger, though underutilized this season, is seen as a player with a lot of potential who could step into a larger role, potentially backing up Caitlin Clark at point guard. Dantas, on the other hand, is a seasoned veteran who can stretch the floor, score efficiently, and provide depth. Their absence might indicate that Indiana is leaving room for trades or is willing to risk losing them to focus on other priorities.
You just never know. You just never, ever know when it comes to the WNBA. Like, nothing will surprise me. But this is a competent franchise. They're going to keep the players that have the most value, whether it be on the court or in the trade room.
Fans are divided. Some praise the Fever for focusing on their stars and keeping trade flexibility open, while others worry that this strategy could cost them key players with untapped potential. It's a delicate balancing act between securing the present and planning for the future. The big question is, did the Fever get that balance right? This situation also highlights a larger trend in the WNBA. Teams are becoming more strategic and secretive as the league gets more competitive. Expansion drafts are rare, and every decision has ripple effects across the league, whether the leak was intentional or not. Now, Indiana is at the center of one of the offseason's biggest stories. The real question is, how do fans feel about these decisions? And what do they mean for Indiana's chances of becoming a contender?